What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another transfer update video. Happy Monday, people. Another week ahead, and it is match day for Arsenal. So difficult watching all the other teams play over the weekend, and there has been some interesting results. Manchester United getting beaten up by Tottenham. They looked a bit of a mess. Big up to everyone who tuned in for that watch along. Chelsea getting beaten by West Ham. Mikel Antonio, yardman settings, too strong, too physical. And Caicedo giving away a penalty. Tough debut for the £115 million player. So some very interesting results over the weekend. But Arsenal need to take advantage, need to handle business, and need to collect 3 points tonight. I am confident that we can win this game. But it will be difficult. Palace away, Monday night under the lights is always tough. But anyway, let's talk transfers, people. Let's talk transfers. And the first one is a very interesting one. Ivan Toney, a player that I've spoken about numerous times on this channel. A lot of you in the community have similar opinions to me on Ivan Toney. Now, Ivan Toney did a bit of a tell-all interview where he was speaking about his gambling issues and obviously his ban from football. With Stephen Bartlett, and he was speaking about his future and some interesting quotes from him. He said, the next club that I go to has to be the right club. To which Stephen said back to him, are you talking about Liverpool? I've heard you're a big Liverpool fan. Ivan Toney then went on to say, yes, he is a Liverpool fan. He's been a Liverpool fan his whole life. But he proceeded to say how much he likes Arsenal. He said, I like Arsenal. I've liked Arsenal from young, and I like their style of football. I also very much like the passion from the Arsenal fans. So very interesting there. I mean, first of all, if you're a Brentford fan, you'd be very disappointed to hear your star player talking about other clubs. But I just thought it was very interesting. He could have left that as, you know, Liverpool, the club he supports, everyone would have been talking about potentially Liverpool. But the fact he was so keen to mention Arsenal, he's liked Arsenal since he was young, he likes this style of football, he likes the passion of the fans. I've said for a long time, I know somebody that knows Ivan Toney pretty well. I'm not doing the whole ITK thing here. I'm not saying I've got any inside info on what club he wants to join. But I know for a fact that he's ready to move. You know, he's in his late-ish 20s now. There's a European Championships at the end of the season. He's missed half a season. Now, an opportunity for him to go to a club like Arsenal in January, have a good 6 months, that would probably get him into Gareth Southgate's squad. When you look at the English strikers outside of Harry Kane, there's nobody that's really on fire at the moment. So I think he has a great opportunity. And I just think Arsenal should take advantage of this transfer ban to sign him at a reduced price. You know, you look at last January, we were top of the league and flying. If you added somebody like an Ivan Toney that's hungry, that's got a point to prove in January, I think it would be a fantastic bit of business. You may also get him cheaper because of the ban. But let me know in the comments what you think. Ivan Toney, get him to the carpet ASAP, people. But let's see, would Arteta go for him with the PR? We know that he said things about Arsenal before after scoring against us that seemed to trigger Arteta a little bit. So let's see what happens with that one. Ivan Toney drops a hint about Arsenal. Let's talk about Kieran Tierney. Somebody that at the moment, listen, Arteta can say whatever he likes about him. Actions speak louder than words. Saying he's in your plans, great. Doesn't make the matchday squad despite being fit. I think that tells you a lot more. Now, Real Sociedad are back in for Kieran Tierney. They want to take Kieran Tierney on loan. Arsenal willing to loan him as long as there's an obligation to buy him in 12 months' time. Sociedad wanted him on loan with an option to buy. There is no way on earth Arsenal should be loaning a player of that quality with no obligation. There has to be an obligation. Now, the clubs that were being linked with Kieran Tierney are becoming less and less. We know that Newcastle were favourites. They've now signed Lewis Hall from Chelsea. Villa were linked with him as well. They are going to be, at the moment, they're being linked with someone else who we're going to speak about shortly. Sociedad seem to be the club at the front of the queue for Tierney, but they're going to have to agree a deal that works for all parties. Now, Fabrizio Romano saying today he still expects Kieran Tierney to leave the football club. He's not getting enough football. He doesn't even appear to be second choice at the moment, with the likes of Tomiyasu, Kivi or Timber was playing there. And obviously Zinchenko, the number one. It looks as if he still may leave. For me, you've got to get at least £30 million for him. He's got 3 years left on his deal. And if it is a loan, okay, you get that 30 million next summer. Sociedad would probably be a decent move for him. They play good football. La Liga may be a bit less physical for him. We know Tierney has suffered with injuries in the past. Another left-back, people, that could be on his way, and is Nuno Tavares. Now, he is actually being linked today with a move to Aston Villa. Aston Villa were being linked with Kieran Tierney, of course, former Arsenal manager Unai Emery. They got a great victory over Everton at the weekend. Luca Digne was playing at left back. I think the feeling was that Luca Digne was going to leave. Tierney would come in as first choice to replace him. Digne played at the weekend, did well. It's believed he may stay now, so they may be looking for more of a backup option. Somebody like Nuno Tavares could provide that option. How much would Aston Villa be willing to pay? It's believed Villa looking to pay around 12 to 14 million pounds for Nuno Tavares, which is interesting as he was being linked for Forest for 20 to 30 million. But obviously they're just looking for a backup. They're not going to want to pay as much money. Nuno Tavares, who's rejected the move to Forest in favour of other options. Could he get a move to Aston Villa? Would that be a good move for him? I think one thing is for sure, Arsenal need to clear the wage bill and get rid of some of these players sooner rather than later. Now, Chelsea were beaten yesterday by West Ham. Obviously, a lot of Arsenal fans were obviously enjoying the fact Caicedo gave away that penalty. But you could clearly see that Chelsea need a striker. They dominated for large periods. I thought Raheem Sterling had a fantastic game, a player that I rate highly. And he looks to be somewhere back to his best in the opening few games. But you could see with Nicholas Jackson, although he looks lively, is not a natural goal scorer, which is why Chelsea, once again, being linked with following Balogun. We know that Arsenal want £50 million for Balogun. I spoke about it over the weekend. How much should Arsenal ask for? I said at least 60 million with a sell-on clause. We know that Chelsea are flush with cash and they've paid bigger money for less proven players. So you can see why they are looking for a striker. Will Balogun be in the matchday squad tonight against Crystal Palace? Will Kieran Tierney be in the matchday squad as well? That will tell you a lot, I think, regarding their futures. One last piece of transfer news, and that is regarding Rob Holden. Besiktas have apparently opened negotiations again with Arsenal. They spoke to Arsenal at the end of June. They have opened talks again about Rob Holden. We've obviously been speaking to them about Nicolas Pepe. We haven't been able to agree a deal as yet, but they want Rob Holden. Would it be a potential loan, or would they get him on a permanent deal for a reduced price? Holden clearly not in the plans this season as a regular starter for Arsenal. I think it's probably best for all parties that Rob Holden moves on and gets regular football elsewhere. Apparently he's open to the possibility of going to Besiktas, and let's see what happens with that one. The final story of the show is that Manchester City apparently don't want to do any business with Arsenal this summer unless we overpay massively for any of their players. Now, last summer they sold us Gabriel Jesus and Alexander Zinchenko. They obviously didn't see Arsenal as a threat. They didn't mind selling us their fringe players. Arsenal were very interested in João Cancelo and Aymeric Laporte. Now, Laporte is on his way to Al Nassr for £24 million. It's believed they wanted 40 to 45 when it was Arsenal. And João Cancelo looks to be on his way to Barcelona, alone with an obligation to buy. And again, they apparently wanted around 45 million when it came to Arsenal. It's a positive. It means that they now see us as a genuine threat. They don't want to strengthen us. Could be disappointing because there may be players there that we would have taken that now we're not going to get. But I think if we're going to overcome Manchester City, we need to create our own dynasty. We need to sign our own players and create our own stars. Liverpool did that when they overcame City in that title race, and I think we're going to have to sign players from elsewhere. So a positive and a negative. but I view it more as a positive. It means we're starting to bother people, which means we are improving. Can we take advantage of that? Appreciate everyone tuning in, liking and subscribing to the channel, liking the videos. I'll be back just after 7 p.m. tonight. Arsenal against Crystal Palace, live from Selhurst Park. I'm going for a 2-0 victory for Arsenal tonight. No Zaha, who of course has left Palace. No Elise, who is out injured. They still have Eze, who is a good player. But I just think we'll have too much for Palace tonight. Going to be interesting, the team lineup. Will he play Havertz, Trossard or Nketiah up front? Will he revert to the back four, which I hope he does? I don't want to see Partey at right back. I feel we should go with Zinchenko, Gabriel, Saliba and White. Hopefully see Rice and Partey in the pivot. And Odegaard up front. And will David Raya playing goal ahead of Ramsdale? I think he probably will opt for Ramsdale. Give me a score predictions in the comments. Let me know about anything we've spoken about today. And tune in for the watch along tonight around 7:10. Arsenal against Crystal Palace. 3-point collecting. Big up to everyone.